call the cops on me. On a mission to be champs since they let me free.
Prepare for combat, my adversaries crumble. Face it, I got a reputation for damage. Busters get ready to rumble. They lock me in a cell, have me trapped in a living hell. Though not guilty, I'm still in jail. Brother, I serve my time like a soldier. Maintain composure. My shadow boxing the fight to the death. Busting boulders. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug. A lethal weapon, mind sharp. And in my heart, there's a wish to shake the world with the flurry of my black fist. Now once a high school dropout, now I'm the $1 million champ. Who's the next to get knocked out? Straight out of Brooklyn.
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Cheap Seats Boxing Show. Angelo here, my boy JP. JP, what's up, man?
Man down.
Man, yeah. I down. Follow the show on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box. iTunes, rate and review. Help us get more noticeable. Stay up there in the rankings. Back to 4. Back where we belong. Actually, we belong at 1. Let's be honest. We're killing this shit.
Don't make me turn into to Stephen A. Smith. That's just preposterous.
You could be the next unofficial sponsor if you take the time out to rate and review the show. I know there's more than 29 people who listen to the show. There's at least 35. So please.
I think 37.
Okay. We got some new listeners. Do that. You will be the next unofficial sponsor. We shout you out. That's how we do things. You can email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Any questions, any comments, anything like that you won't fit in 140 characters, feel free. We always respond. Welcome to all the listeners.
Oh, and Zoom. Absolutely.
And the Zoom listener. So let's start where the boxing world was talking last week. And that was George Groves. That wasn't what they were talking about?
Man, anybody trying to hit that?
As Errol Spence passes the test. He went to class. He struggled. He didn't pass it with flying colors. He didn't get 100%. But he passed the test. And at this point in your career, and that's all you want to do, he breaks the other eye socket of Kell Brook. Doesn't land a punch to knock him down in the 11th, but at that point the damage had been done to the eye. He had had enough. Errol Spence is a star born, JP?
Born? He been a star since 1984. I mean, I don't think he was born until 1999, but he was a star a long time ago. But man, much credit to him. Much credit to him. I mean, the fact that he went over there to do it. He said he was going to do it. He did it. In not necessarily spectacular fashion, but he did it damn good. Because he actually took the belt from the champ in his hometown and basically TKO'd him doing it. So, I mean, congratulations. Man down! No disrespect to Kell Brook, because let's be honest, man. Kell Brook put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, the only loser in this fight was Kell Brook's face. And you really can't account for that. How do you know that the other side's going to break at this point? You couldn't expect that. If there was going to be any damage to an eye, you would expect it to be the one that Golovkin broke. That wasn't the case. The weight issue seemed to me, it reared its ugly head. And we talked about this last week when he was on weight early. I said, it might be a little too early. And if you listen to our breakdown, actually, it was almost exact, except for the eye, fractured eye socket, which of course you can't account for. You don't know that going into it. And the cards were pretty fair. The only reason I say pretty fair is because one card had a fucking too wide of a margin in my eyes. But the cards were very fair. And take note, Andre Ward, you can have a fight that you're the champion of where you actually have judges from everywhere or not from none of the countries, because there was one U.S. judge, there was one UK judge, there was one neutral judge. So you can do it.
Yeah.
So respect to Brook for that. Respect to Spence for passing the test. He got he got beat early, and I said that I thought that because he has been so inactive, Spence, since his 6 million viewed fight after the Olympics, that I figured Kell Brook would jump on him early. And plus, if weight has been an issue, he's going to be full of energy at the beginning and he's going to gas out. So there's your chance. And to me, he did it. I was one of the guys who had him up 5-2 after 7 rounds. He didn't win another round after that. He was on his way to losing 7 rounds to 5, which I thought he would do, which is what I predicted. I thought that there would be some funny business on the cards, which there wasn't. So good for that. Brook taught him some lessons. He definitely took him to school on certain things. Because Spence would start each round pretty fast, but then would back off, almost admiring his work, like, okay, I've done enough. And where Brook was like, no, let me show you how we finish a round. And it's almost like there was a lot of close rounds, but I edged Brook in a lot of those close rounds early on because I thought he actually finished the last half of the round stronger than Spence was in the first half of the fight. Even though it was probably really 50-50, I edged it to the champ for finishing the round stronger. And I think it was around 7 that I started to see that change, and that was the round also that he broke his eye socket, where Spence started to finish the round stronger and come on him. And then, of course, we had the 10th round, which Brook went down, and it wasn't even that much of a punch, I didn't think. The first knockdown.
Yeah, but I think Errol's always known for that onslaught.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't.
No, I'm not dismissing that. What I'm saying is he went down, and it was almost like, this is my last stand. He got up, and he made the 10th round the best round to fight. And then that was it. He was like, that was it. That's all I had. If I couldn't get to him, I couldn't get to him. And then one last thing, there was a rumor about people were questioning Kell Brook's right hand, if he had hurt it in training camp. I will say this, they never complained about it. They never brought it up themselves. But there was a lot of lead left uppercuts, which you don't see a lot of lead left uppercuts. And it was kind of telling, like, I would have figured you might want to go with some right uppercuts, your strong hand. Maybe it was some of it, but there's really no taking away from what Spence did. He learned more in this fight. He's going to be way better for this fight, and for him, he won it, so that's so much better for him. It's kind of almost like what Oscar Valdez did. Remember when he went through his with Mariaga? It's like, yeah, they're really like, oh, he struggled more than he should have. Maybe. And Brook, there was a lot of people who thought Brook was just going to wipe him out and knock him out in 8, which that's not what happened. He struggled through this fight in spots and then wore him down late. But he's going to be so much better for this. He learned a lot in this fight.
Yeah, I like the fight because I think early on, I think Spence didn't think that Brook was as good as a counterpuncher as he was. Because I think that's what kind of stopped his offense. Because he kept coming over the top of that jab. Like, this dude is like, yeah, you're going to have to figure some other things out. But when he started landing solid shots, I would know that, like, Brook has a great poker face. But every now and then he'd back up like, wait a minute, this dude hit harder than I think. So I think Spence realized that over time. But I also think that with the right hand situation, it was all like I knew about it just like you knew about it. I was thinking, like, sometimes I was like, is it hurt? And then other times he would just let it go and double up. And I'm like, maybe it's not hurt. And so I was like, well, look, I'm going to just enjoy the fight after a while. The fact that they didn't say anything, that they didn't complain, because it was basically, for the most part, rumor that they didn't substantiate. Mm-hmm. But he fought like a true champion. He lost in his hometown. That's understandable. But he fought. Eye socket busted up. He kept fighting until he couldn't fight anymore. And Spence, the one thing I can say about him, he's going to be more dangerous than anybody else in that division, because he's constantly finishing better fighters. He went from finishing, his last 3 fighters is basically going upward in talent, and he finished them. So now it's like everybody else got to go too. So I think he's going to be more of a dangerous opponent, because now he's like, dude, if I can get these out of here, Y'all ain't nothing. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for Brook too. Cause I know we as boxing fans, we like to count a person loses. We like to count them out. Don't count Kell Brook out that easily. Whether he goes up to 54, whether he stays up for it, don't count him out that easily because he's that talented. So, just saying.
Well, there was 3 things that came out of this fight. One, Spence became his first step towards being a star. And then the quitting thing, when he took the knee in the 11th and basically took the count, told the ref, "Nah, I'm good, I'm done." He quit, and I'm okay with the quit. There was nothing about that I was like, "Oh man, what the fuck? Why would you quit now?" Like, no, because I looked exactly the same as the other I did against Golovkin. He obviously knows the feeling of your eye socket being broken now, which is not a feeling that you want to know, but he knows it. And it's like, okay, hold on, this one got broke, now this one got broke. Maybe it is time that I call it a day. I know I'm at this point behind in the fight. There's really not much to say. Like that, the level of quit. I said there are levels of quitting. There's what Brook did when it was like, there's nothing else that I can do in this fight, and I do not want to be permanently damaged. And then there's Victor Ortiz. Hey, there's 2 different things. Now, it's like this. If somebody comes in your house and you defend your house and you shoot and kill that person, it's not the same as just being pissed off at somebody and killing them. You've killed a man, but there are 2 different levels to it. Semantics, man.
For me, it's just one of those situations where it's your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody broke your jaw, you can at least cover up your jaw. If you broke your hand, you can at least use your other hand. But if you can't see, or you got double vision, you can't. If you were playing baseball and you had double vision, you'd be at a pitcher's mercy. Now because now you got to hit both balls. You know what I'm saying? I guess pause. I guess yeah. But
we're so childish.
Yeah. But if you're fighting, you don't want to get hit again because now you don't necessarily know where it's coming from per se. So that only makes the situation worse. Plus, it wasn't like he was up on the cards that he could run his way out of the fight. He was at a point where he had just got dropped the round before. Spence keeps coming at him. So he was gonna get hit. And what do you want him to do? Lose his eyesight? People forget that. You break an orbital bone, you can knock the eye clean up out of that thing. And don't think he wouldn't have tried. 'Cause he wouldn't have known that's what he was doing, but he would have tried it. He'd have knocked his eye out. So let the man live to fight another day. That's just my opinion. People fight with broken ribs. That's understandable. People fighting with hurt body parts. That's understandable. But you need your eyes to see what's coming at you.
And you expect things from fans, right? You expect them to talk shit on the internet and talk shit on shows and whatever, and that's fine, whatever. You want to label them a quitter, which is very few. I think most people saw it for what it was. But to see fighters disparage Kell Brook and the effort he showed after what he showed in the 10th, knowing that he had broken it in the 7th, and for them to still, like Amir Khan did, kind of passive aggressively dissing him but wishing him well. Tony Bellew talking shit, that fat fuck who basically quit against Adonis Stevenson, and Gervonta Davis, who is just a wee lad in this game at 22 talking shit. Now, especially, I'm going to go to Gervonta Davis because I got a question for him. Since he wants to say that he can't believe that he quit, especially so close to the fight, end of the fight, right? You got a promoter whose trainer, whose uncle did the same thing. Do you question him? Do you say, Uncle Roger, you're a quitter? I saw you on the stool against Chavez Sr., shaking your head, refusing to come back out. Does he do that? No. So why does he try to take a shot at Kell Brook? I don't get it. I don't understand that mentality. It's stupid.
I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, when it comes to, at least call it for what it is. You know what I mean? Call it for what it is. If you were in that situation and those were the choices you had to make, if you're saying you wouldn't do it, at least say, if I wouldn't do it, but I might be jeopardizing my career. I wouldn't do it, but that might be my last fight ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we didn't call Kell Brook a quitter when the corner said, yo, against Golovkin, we called, man, the man had heart. He was fighting with a broken orbital bone against a heavy hitter. I hate to break the news to you, but Errol Spence is a heavy hitter too. So guess what? He just said, hey, I tried this once before already. It didn't work out for me. So now I see where I'm trying this again, and it's not working out for me. So now he doesn't even have to have the luxury of telling the corner saying no. He's like, look, nah, this is not where I was in this situation before, and I'm not going to be able to work with this one.
It's funny because they could have actually said, you know what, I don't think I would have, but I've never been in that situation. I've never had my eye damaged like that. Never had my orbital bone broke. So I don't know. Because that's part of the reason we talked about, Matisse was labeled a quitter, but it was like, if he can't see, he can't see. And we were talking about, because that was the second time he hurt his
eye.
Right.
Right. I was like, you can't see, you can't see. The same thing happened with
and people did label Matisse a quitter.
Right. Angulo, we thought he got his eye socket broke, but he got thumb real bad. Yeah. And he's like, I can't do it. I mean, in boxing, eye injuries. Okay, Margarito had an eye injury. You see how that?
He refused to quit.
And what did that cost?
Yeah.
So come on, like certain things. Come on.
Who is it? Is it Israel Vasquez?
Think maybe.
Is he the one who lost his eye? He has the fake eye now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Vasquez Marquez. God,
yeah.
I'm getting.
Because it was such a war, man. Both of them got half.
But I think it's Israel Vasquez who actually has the eye replaced. So is that who you want? Now, if Margarito said, you know what, I wouldn't have quit. Hey, motherfucker, we know you wouldn't have quit. You know, did Ray Leonard chime in and say, hey, man, I can't believe he quit? No, he's had the detached retina. He knows what it's like.
Yeah,
just, you know what? Just shut the fuck up. You could have just simply said, you know what? Congratulations, Errol Spence, on a great performance, and just left Kell Brook out of it.
And even I'm going to be an ass when I say this, but Amir Khan shouldn't say nothing either, because just because you don't have the chin to take the punch to get to get your orbital bone broken in the first place doesn't mean you get to say you would have been asleep. We thought you was dead against Canelo. We was like, yo, this motherfucker ain't gonna make it. But he has a chin though. Kell actually has a chin. His eye just broke. Like, I could do that. No, you can't. You've been sleeping before that happened. Whatever.
Yeah. And then the last question out of this fight was, who's the best welterweight now? And I got a lot of responses off this one because this was Errol Spence. It's either Errol Spence or Keith Thurman. Well, I remember when Keith Thurman won that last fight. Everybody was like, "Oh!" And people going into that fight was like, "Whoever wins this is the best welterweight." And I said, going into that fight, whoever wins this fight is not the best welterweight. They may be considered one of the best welterweights, but they ain't the best. And I put out there, I said, I'm sorry, but at this point, still, Manny Pacquiao is the best welterweight in the world. Does that mean that I think that Errol Spence can't beat him and would probably even be a favorite? No, that's not what I'm saying. And I told, I think Mo in the Boxed Out podcast, Harry Levy, he's out in my UK connections, and Chris Boyd. God, please forgive me if I got it wrong. I told him I was going to elaborate more on this because we were going back on Twitter. I said, listen to the show and I can elaborate more. Because one of them was like, I don't think he'd beat the top 5 welterweights. I'm like, well, I can't even get with that argument. To me, that argument is invalid. Almost, I can't pick 5 welterweights to beat him. See, I think a lot of people let their emotions, like, oh, he's fighting Jeff Horn. I don't even like him. I didn't even like him when he played with the Saints. You know.
I like the old Joe though. I like the old Joe.
No, what I'm saying. So, and they let that get into the way of how they feel about him. Yes, is he on the tour? Yes. Has it only been one fight that hasn't even happened? Yes, because remember last year he fought 2 top 10 welterweights, won 20, at least 20 of the 24 rounds. You have to understand that part of it. I think, let's put it like this. Nobody would say there's no way Manny Pacquiao can beat Errol Spence. There's no way Manny Pacquiao can beat Keith Thurman. A lot of people think he beats Keith Thurman. He beats every the welterweight. I would say Spence is probably the only guy where more people would say Spence beats Manny than the other way around. I can now on that argument I can't argue with you, but the reason that I put Manny there because I still think it's pretty close to 50-50. Career and resume come into play at that point. It's like the Vladimir Klitschko thing. Going into the Tyson Fury fight, did I think Vladimir Klitschko was the best heavyweight in the world still? No, I did not. I thought Anthony Joshua could beat him. I thought even Wilder could have a shot. I thought Tyson Fury could beat him if he didn't get caught, because even going into that fight, I picked Tyson Fury to be up on the cards. I thought he'd get hit late because his chin is not shown to be great, but I picked him to actually be winning the fight going into the 10th round. He never got knocked out. He wins the fight. So, but at that point, you still had to consider him the best heavyweight because he had earned that right, I think.
Like, you already know who my pound for pound fight of the year was. It was Manny, because by the way we do it, at that time couldn't see nobody touching him. I mean, we can promote other fighters and say they're great, but when it comes down to the reality, when Floyd Mayweather retired, you know who was the best fighter on the planet after that? Manny Pacquiao. Ain't shit changed. It was number 1, number 2, number 1A, number 1B. So he's still number 1. Now the problem is, maybe the competition is a little bit stiffer than it used to be, because I can't see him. I think he have challenges at 40, and I think the guys at 54, that's a problem. And I think at 47, the best 47 fighter would probably be Tim Bradley. You know, problem is
He don't fucking fight.
no, but at the same time, we already see the history him and Manny have. So, I mean, if people say, man, okay, Keith Thurman, Tim Bradley, they'd be like, oh, that's a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence, Tim Bradley. They're like, which Tim Bradley we talking about? Fighting Tim Bradley might not win. Boxing Tim Bradley might, that's a tough fight. But you don't say, Tim Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. Everybody say, look, we done seen this shit. Okay. But that's the issue. At welterweight, give the crown to who deserves it. Is he in the best of his shape? Maybe not. But guess what? Manny Pacquiao could beat the shit out of a lot of people not in the best of shape. He's that good. So that's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it.
And that's the whole thing. Is it's kind of like when Floyd went to Showtime, and it was the Robert Guerrero, it was the Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz was actually before. It was a too early Canelo. It was Maidana, who, let's be honest, Maidana he wasn't the world beater. The guy got beat by Amir Khan. So let's not gloss over, just because the fight was close, people gloss over where they thought Marcos Maidana was at that point. That didn't take away from the fact that he was still the best 147 fighter in the world. Just because you're not fighting the level of competition that people want you to fight doesn't take away from the skill. As many people hated on Floyd Mayweather, 75% of them picked him to beat Manny Pacquiao when they finally fought. There's a reason for it, because you have to take that part out of it. Now look, after Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao goes and fights another scrub. Maybe fights a Bradley Skeet. That's funny because just in the rankings, it's possible. He wants to go to the UK to make a big payday. And then he fights somebody else. You take him out of that conversation, because now he has literally pulled himself out of the conversation. But not one fight after winning the title against Jesse Vargas do you to say all of a sudden, oh, well, you can't. To me, you got to let that emotion part play out of it. Take it out of it. Eye test, yes, I will even concede that Errol Spence should be a favorite against Manny Pacquiao. That's not even an issue to me. I'm not going to argue that point, but it's close enough to where, you just edge it you're just going to edge it to the veteran at that point who's earned that title. And like you said, Tim Bradley, if he ever fought again, is still trouble. Could Tim Bradley beat Errol Spence? Man, probably not at this point. Could he beat Keith Thurman? Yeah, he could beat Keith Thurman. Could he beat Danny Garcia? Yeah, he could beat Danny Garcia. Could he beat Sean Porter? Yeah, he's a better version of Sean Porter. And like you said, we saw where Manny was. So that's why I felt like I did when I tweeted that out. Will we ever get to see it in the ring? Yeah, probably not. Like I said, eventually he will pull himself out of that conversation. But until then, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's earned at least that. Anything else from the fight, man?
Nah.
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
This is when you don't have very much to talk about. We can spend a full 26 minutes talking about that shit. Like I said in the beginning, George Groves did finally get his title against Fedor Chudinov, a guy who fights an average of 2 times every 3 years. I'm happy for George Groves because it's better for boxing that George Groves won that fight because him and DeGale would actually be a big fight in the UK. It'd be actually a fun fight in the UK. The rematch, both of them have titles. It was what it was. I was rooting for him.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Carl Froch might just walk into the ring and slap both of them after it's over with. But that's a whole nother story. But that'll be good for boxing, too.
This weekend, the Showtime card, Donna Stevenson against Andres Fonfara. The enthusiasm builds as we get closer to fight night. As you can hear it in my voice. It's been told enough on shows. This rematch is a year and a half too late. At least a year too late. Because people were asking for it. And then Joe Smith Jr. knocks out Fonfara. Fonfara has the comeback fight. Comes a come-from-behind victory against sad Chad Dawson in 2017. Not the best look ever. I think it's real simple. I think Stevenson's going to jump on him early. And I think if he gets Fonfara down, he's not going to let him off the hook this time. And Fonfara's not the fastest starter. And now that he's with Virgil Hunter, he's going to start even less fast. It's lined up for an Adonis Stevenson victory.
But he gonna always be bad Chad to me. That's all I gotta say about that. The thing about it is, everybody knows what this is. This is just a prelude to him, if he wins, pulling the WWE stunt next week against
2 weeks.
2 weeks, I'm sorry, against Ward and Kovalev. That's all this is about. Because everybody knows, he's people don't think about him anymore. I think Badu Jack has more fanfare in that division than he does.
And he hasn't even fought there yet.
Yeah, so because we talked about this plenty of time. The way he's been operating, he's made himself irrelevant. It's aggravating just as a fan watching it, but I'm not gonna give it much attention because guess what? If you wanted to be the man, you had a chance to fight Kovalev before Ward even moved up. You didn't do it. So now that they've had their fight, mind you, let's just run this right. They had tune-up fights for each other before they had their fight, and have their rematch, all in 2 week span when you actually going to fight somebody to make yourself relevant in the championship conversation. If you wanted that type of respect, you should have did that a long time ago. You should have just put your name in that hat a long time ago, but you didn't want to do it.
Well, remember, he's still looking for that Carl Froch or Bernard Hopkins fight.
Yeah.
Remember, Remember when he asked the people of Quebec?
Right. Could he fought Joe Smith if he wanted to?
Joe Smith has a fight with Sullivan Barrera. Is it July?
But I'm saying,
And remember, Joe Smith had a chance. He had a mandatory against Gavajdik. I think it was Gavajdik.
who?
Joe Smith.
For what belt?
An eliminator for the WBC. And do you blame Joe Smith for saying, I'm just going to go fight Sullivan Barrera for, I think it's an eliminator for a different belt. I'm not even sure which belt it is. But that's why I was like, when they announced that, I was like, for what? The right to never fight Adonis Stevenson? Why would you even fight a WBC eliminator if you're a light heavyweight? Alito Alvarez is the mandatory for the last 2 years. And will he get his fight against him after he fights and beats the corpse of Gene Pascal?
And honestly, Joe Smith WBC belt kind of looked fly in Adonis Stevenson. So I can still look. I got the belt.
Yeah.
I beat Bernard Hopkins. What did you do? So it is what it is, man. That's what I'm thinking.
It's pretty bad when you knock out Funfara in one, knock out Bernard Hopkins, and you still have to fight an eliminator. Like, really? That didn't really get me to a mandatory status at that point? At that point, Funfara was considered a huge threat to Stevenson, and Bernard Hopkins is still Bernard Hopkins and hadn't been knocked out like that. So,
as you said, here's the crazy thing about it. You brought up Joe Smith fight Sullivan Barrera. Badu Jackson knew the division. What's the other guy? The other Russian.
oh, Beterbiev?
Beterbiev. Here's the problem. Guess what? Between them and Kovalev and Ward, who's on the outskirts? Even if he wins, people are like, all right, whatever, man.
I am the champ.
Whatever, man. Like, and so he's on the outskirts of the division where he's holding the belt. That lets you know how low you falling. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, by the way, like I said, Alvarez will beat the corpse of Jean Pascal on the undercard. Adonis Stevenson will probably knock out Andres Funfara in 5. Because the one thing Stevenson is still a gigantic puncher. Well, you can't take it away from him.
Yeah.
He can knock out Ward clean. He can knock out Kovalev clean if he catches him with that left.
That's true.
As much as we hate him, I wouldn't want to get hit by that left.
And that's the bad part about it. You got the punching power. Like, this is fucked up, but I'm gonna say it. Like, even if one millennia he actually was to fight one of them, and he would actually win by knockout, right? And man, it took you 17 years to do that shit. Yeah. So like, okay, man, whatever, man.
Any other thing? I saw some rumor that started around on, I think it was on YouTube or something, about John David Jackson.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
But,
and this is why I haven't even talked about the Broner Garcia fight, because I don't talk about, especially when only the rumor has come from YouTube or Twitter. Let me wait for a reputable source to say no, they're about to sign this shit. Because the one thing we can all agree on, that when it comes to reporting, YouTube and Twitter, when it comes to boxing, is the fucking National Enquirer of the media outlets in this thing. The Star magazine.
There you go. Like, you just give it a, it's fake and real at the same time. You got to figure out which one is which.
Yeah, but they get it right sometimes. Yeah, so does the Enquirer. That really don't mean anything.
Look, in Men in Black,
yeah,
the Enquirer was the truth.
Was actually where the real news was. So yeah, whatever. That's the only reason I brought it up, was just to make that comment.
Yeah, I don't. My thing about that is at the end of the day, even with the Mikey Broner thing, if it's gonna happen, let's see. With the other news, I would say was the Oscar boycott. Like, dog, just shut up. Like,
oh, you talking about his letter?
Yeah, I mean, how many fucking letters you gonna write?
Oh, God.
Like, to me, it's just like, dude, Here's my number one issue with this. This is at the same time where Floyd is saying that Canelo beats Triple G. So obviously he's talking about your fighter in a positive way. Like, dude, I don't care what y'all say, this motherfucker gonna fight, he gonna win. Why do the Playboy letter thing again?
I don't know.
Like, we all understand the Conor McGregor fight is a bullshit fight. He ain't got a chance to help. We get that. But guess what? Motherfuckers want to pay to see it. I don't know why, but I ain't gonna stop him. I ain't gonna hate. So if the man's not hating on you, your company, your fighter, stop hating on him. Just shut the fuck up.
All right. I got a couple of opinions on that real quick. One, Oscar needs to shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a shit about your stupid ass letters. The way that you fucking have manipulated Canelo's career since the Floyd fight is literally Floyd-esque. So shut up. You're taking his blueprint. So you look 10 times worse because it's this is what I went off about that when I was telling him, you know, fuck you, shut up. Everybody's tired of it. Now Floyd's picking Canelo. Of course he's going to pick Canelo to beat Triple G. Of course he is, because he beat Canelo. But trust me, if he had beat Triple G and not fought Canelo, he'd be picking Triple G. That's what Floyd does. You know, it's hey, he beat him and I beat that guy, so it's just like I beat Triple G. No, it's not like you did that. Floyd is a media whore. And you know, I don't talk about this fight. I will make one comment. I will actually call it by its name. Floyd versus McGregor. That's the only time I say it. Every other time, it's boxer versus the MMA guy. Because I don't think that this shit should get any fucking publicity. And here's why it gets none from me. Because it is a WWE-esque event masqueraded as real sport. And I'll tell you why. Because the first time you see Floyd Mayweather jawing in Conor McGregor's face, it's all fake at that point. Why is he jawing in Conor McGregor's face? Because he knows Conor McGregor, I guarantee you it's in the contract, is not allowed to lay any hand on him before the fight. Why? See, the thing is, when we see boxers jawing back and forth and going at it, we believe, well, they'll settle in the ring because we don't know who can beat up who. No, I know who can beat up who. Okay? If they're in the street and they're jawing, Conor McGregor chokes Mayweather out in about 3 to 4 seconds. It's over. He could beat the fuck out of him quick. Okay? It's that simple. So when I watch him talk shit, it doesn't even affect me. I'm like, why do you even get hyped up about that? You know he'd get his ass kicked. So it's just, it's like when he was talking shit to the Big Show in WWE. It's like, you'd get your ass kicked. He'd grab you by your fucking neck and you're done. But because it's WWE and there's theatrics to it, that was the fun part of it. But the problem is they're masquerading this off as real fucking sport, which it's not.
Look, some people forget.
And I will hate on anybody who orders this. You're dumb.
I told you a long time ago, people wanted to see this fight. I told you they was in dreamland and fantasyland. They gonna. So, do you remember when James Toney fought Randy Couture?
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be the boxing version of James Toney and Randy Couture. And this time Floyd is Randy Couture, and this time Conor is fucking James Toney. But fuck it.
Yeah, and no.
So it ain't the first time it happened.
No.
So that's why
it's been a few times. Ray Mercer did.
Right.
Did
so that's why people like Dana White. I don't know. Shut your ass up.
Yeah, but to this extent, to where it's on TV shows and everything, it's just like, oh, stop.
But this is what you know. What you always say: you got to give the people what they want, right? Sometimes, and I told you before, the hate is so big that he's benefiting off of people's hate. Because I want to see you look. You picked a fucking MMA fighter. That's what you're paid to see. You stupid son of a bitch. But you know what? If I'm Floyd, you know what? Count your money right now. Say shit. I'm gonna buy me another $1 million car on these stupid motherfuckers.
And that's another problem with this fight, right? Because I will absolutely hear that argument, which I do not disagree with at all. I don't disagree with the argument. Easy money. Why would he take that fight? Well, because it's easy money. Why wouldn't you take it? And then those same people turn around and go, why Manny Pacquiao fighting Jeff Horn? He should be fighting Errol Spence. He should be fighting Terrence Crawford. But they don't ever turn around and say, well, Floyd needs to fight Errol Spence.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what? This is we're going to make it fair. From now on, we're going to call him Money Manny Pacquiao. That way,
he's turned into that. Yeah.
that way, now we know what we're doing.
I'm just saying, let's just keep everything down the middle.
Is it rupees or what
I
is
don't
that?
even know.
See, I
I
don't know the Filipino money,
but I'm just saying that I'm gonna get sick of hearing people say, well, "Why shouldn't Floyd take that fight? He gonna get paid easy," and then they're gonna be like, "Well, why ain't Manny fighting Terrence Crawford? Why ain't he giving him a shot?" Which I agree with. Well, I do agree that he should be fighting him. If you're gonna continue fighting, you should be fighting the best. That's why my respect level for Vladimir Klitschko went sky high, fighting a guy like Anthony Joshua who didn't have to fight.
He was forced to fight Joshua.
Doesn't matter. He still did it.
Oh yeah, he did it. But I ain't
don't
gonna
give a
lie.
fuck if you're forced. If you still have to do it.
He did it.
Hey, Adonis Stevens has been forced for a while and he still ain't doing it.
You got a point. You got a point.
Motherfuckers will refuse to.
Yes, yeah.
You know.
Do you agree? No, I disagree to this fight. No, I disagree. I don't
And the fight fans who buy that fight, you're idiots, and you're accomplices to this bullshit. And you wonder why boxing gets that stuff.
No. I'm going to be out listening to everybody and their fucking hopes and dreams. Oh shit! You know what? He's going to hit him with a super punch in the middle of the third round. He's going to end the fight. Okay, I'm going to be out dressed up. I still got my TBE shirt somewhere in the closet. I want to see what was that old shit they used to wear in the MMA? The tap out shirt. Yeah, man, shit.
Hey, if I'm the MMA guy, I go Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3 against Hulk Hogan. Take off the gloves, and we're gonna make this a street fight. That's your only hope. Kudos to the boxing fans for getting it right and telling Bob Arum where to stick it when it comes to putting Michael Conlan on as your fucking as your main event in Chicago, as they sold a whopping 2,500 seats. Probably half of those were giveaways. Congratulations, fight fans, you got it right. Continue to do that. Require these promoters to give you the best fights by boycotting the fights that are bullshit. Don't buy the Manny fight. Don't buy the Floyd fight. Don't go to those Michael Conlan main event fights. That's how you do it. And look, when the pay-per-view model went to shit, right, and nobody was buying it, I said this years ago, fight fans, you have the fucking power. Stop buying the bullshit. And when they stopped doing that, look what happened. The matchups got better. The pay-per-view events, but I'm saying, like, there have been very much more competitive fights this year.
Listen, you know, I can tell you right now, if you want to make money right now, are you golden boy? This is what you do. You find some white 155ers, tell them to talk like they, racist, and all white people gonna buy it. And all the alt-right type people, they gonna buy it. That's right, we're gonna kick them out of the country. We're gonna say, this is bullshit. Now you gonna get this boy killed in here with Canelo. But guess what? Is it gonna make money? Or people gonna pay to see it because we gonna teach this boy a lesson. We're gonna throw him back over the board. Okay. You about to get your ass whipped, and then you can find another one.
The brawl for the wall?
Yes. You can find another one, and another one, and another one. Look, we got look. No disrespect, but we got the president and his administration here. You think people won't make this political? And God damn it, you know how much shit'll go there? Man, come on. As a matter of fact, and find Russians too. That's how you do this shit.
All right, let's finish it off with the topic that, as you guys know, this show has the best pound-for-pound rankings, the best pound-for-pound criteria of any show going today.
Including your next favorite show that'll come in the future.
Yeah, whatever your next favorite show is. Yeah, we're better than that one, too. Because we put emphasis on actually going through the weight divisions as proving your pound for pound. And how can you handle your class, the class behind you, and the class in front of you. Well, if you've already showed all that, that's how you get high up in them rankings. We're wiping that away because we're going to have fun with it. Our Fab Five, what our eyes tell us, Not what they have accomplished, but what our eyes tell us are the best 5 fighters on the planet today. JP, you want to start at number 5? Start at the bottom.
He's not. Let me put it to you like this. He's my personal favorite because his style is so different from everybody else's right now. But I'm gonna give it to Tevin Farmer because that you haven't seen defensive head movement in a while. He's not a power puncher, people, but he's very exciting to watch just because of his difficulty. It's difficult to hit him, and he will make you pay. He won't knock you out, but he gonna make you pay. That's always exciting for me personally when I see him. So he's my number 5 young gun right now.
You think he's one of the 5 best fighters in the world right now?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I said, pound all.
Yeah.
I mean, our criteria is out of it. It's just about.
I think because he is so different from the norm, he's gonna give people problems.
Because what I'm basing this off is, to me,
well,
nobody's unbeatable.
Right.
But I would say the 5, to me, it's the 5 most, what I see as the most unbeatable fighters at this point.
Okay, well,
and that's just me. We can look at this 2 different ways. That's just the way I took it.
Am I going to call him unbeatable? He's been beaten.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't even have anything to do with it. I'm talking about just right now.
Yeah.
Because one of my fighters has been beaten.
Yeah, like I say that because he's going to frustrate the shit out of people. Because most people are standing targets right now. Mm-hmm. He's not. He can make you look stupid 12 rounds. That's what I like about it. I mean, it's a little different. If I would, my next 4 is gonna be on the list properly. Let's just put it like that. He's just a fan favorite right now.
As I'm going through my head right now, and I'm kind of scanning everything. Number 5 for me is Alexander Usyk, because I don't see any. Even though he hasn't been as impressive, but at his division, I just don't see anybody who can beat him at right now. I don't. As much as I think like Agasiev can give him trouble, there's no cruiserweight and there's no even light heavyweight coming up that I say that might maybe because he's been so impressive, a Gvozdyk, but. I think right now, especially at 200 pounds, he is damn near unbeatable right now. He goes up to heavyweight, he's very beatable. But right now where he's at, and if he can stay there for a few years, yeah, he's one of the best in the world.
No.
Number 4.
The man we just talked about earlier. That young gun is looking immaculate. Errol Spence. He's looking immaculate. I can't take it away from him. Mm-hmm. He's looking freaking immaculate. And the way this last victory, I'm like, yo, he got the goods. He's the truth, man down. Mm-hmm. You know, and I always liked his patience in when it comes to trying to finish people. He wasn't a person who tried to smother his work when he really wanted to get you. He's always been able to just get a pace going, get the power going, and make sure when he wants you out of there, he's gonna get you out of there. I just love that.
Number 4 for me is. I'm going to tell you something. 4 through 1, for me, can be interchangeable.
I understand.
And the only reason he's at 4 is because the level of competition hasn't been at the highest, even though he hasn't really shown any chink in his armor. Naoya Inoue, number 4, because at his weight, especially with what we're starting to see, is some decline in Chocolatito. I think right now he's the most unbeatable guy. He already came from 108 to 115. He skipped 112, so he's already went through some of the weights. And even at 118, because he's only 24 years old, he will be on another list that we will do maybe next week. The best 5 under 25. He may be the only guy on this list that's under 25. I know he is for me. At 24. I mean, he's barely going to start hitting his prime. He's got a 5-year window right now from here until 29, because at that lightweight, 30 is a magic age. Yeah. 5-year window right now where I don't know if anybody can beat him. As long as his hands hold up, he may be unbeatable. Number 3.
It's Mikey Garcia, man. No matter how you slice it, that dude could fight. I mean, listen. Anybody who's ever watched Mikey Garcia, the first thing be like, what the? This dude, he's a real deal. He's a monster. I mean, you just named the monster, but you know, Mikey's a monster, man. Like, it's like he gonna walk in the ring. And he's like, you know, whoever he fights gonna really get an ass whooping tonight. And he makes good competition look bad. That's why I'm like, Even when people say they want them problems, they don't want them problems. And to think the way he does it and the way he came out of nowhere, and for him to say, you know, boxing wasn't his thing, man, that dude is a beast.
I'll give you a little hint. Our top three is going to be the same three people in a different order, I think.
Probably.
I think. Number three for me, and when I said number 1 through 4 could be changed, and then you could make a case for all of them, 1 through 3 for me is separated by even less. Number 3 for me is Vasyl Lomachenko. And the only reason why is because, well, we have seen him beat. He hasn't been in any trouble since, and a rematch with Orlando Salido is, I think, just a foregone conclusion what's going to happen. But the footwork, the hand speed, the power, he pretty much has it all. The reason that I don't have him at number 1 is because, you know, and I think a lot of people agree, if he goes up one more weight class, they might see a couple people who could beat him. And that's the only reason that he's not there. So I'm going to go with Vasyl Lomachenko, number 3. Number 2.
He's my number 2.
See?
Like that, man, that dude giving people fits.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you slice, he's giving people fits. He's making people look dumb. Like amateurs, like novice. Like, you like, wait a minute, dog. I know this guy's a professional fighter. Well, not when he gets in the ring with Vasyl. And yes, he lost to Salido. He got schooled. And the thing about that is, they fight again. Nobody's like, you gonna get your ass whipped up out of that stadium. He's really gonna unleash some techniques on your ass.
Because he doesn't want to win that fight. He wants. There's a point.
Right, like that guy is. His skill level is unreal. Now I ain't gonna lie. Him and Guillermo need to figure something out. Cause their skill level is pretty much the same. But for right now, I'm telling you, Vasyl giving people hell. It's like me going up against Bobby Fischer in chess. The shit is unfair. But that's just how I feel about it.
Number 2 for me, I think, is going to be your number 1.
Probably.
Terrence Crawford. The only reason that he's at 2 and not number 1, and there's really only one reason, because I've actually seen him lose segments of fights. Whether you say he allowed it or whatever. You know, the first 4 rounds, I had him losing the first 4 rounds to Gamboa. He lost 4 of the first 5 to, I think, Thomas Delorme, the fight after that. But he's never really been in trouble. Gamboa got to him a little bit, did stun him a little bit, which tells you, well, you might be able to get to his chin if you can catch him clean. But the way that he dispatched of Postol, losing 0 minutes of that fight, 0 minutes of John Molina Jr. fight, and 0 minutes of the Felix Diaz fight. He has kicked it in, these last 3 fights, he has kicked it into another gear. It's very similarly to where Lomachenko has taken his career since the Salido loss. You want to add on anything to your number 1 fighter?
Oh, yeah. He's my number 1 for this reason. When he said, why did you fight? Because I can. Mm-hmm. The minute the boxer is that confident, he said, I'm going to beat you at your shit just because I feel like it. You done let me know you the man. And think about this. He's an orthodox fighter. We ain't seen this shit since Marvin Hagler. This dude decides And remember, it used to look kind of strange for that switch.
Mm-hmm.
He used to kind of have to ease his. Now he doesn't even ease into it. Listen, between, and I'm gonna bring these fighters up for a reason. Him, Spence, Davis, Garcia, and Joshua have one similar trait in common about them being young fighters. They primed to get you the hell out of there, and that's all he does. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna knock your ass out. I'm gonna whip your ass. It's just no. It's not a question. It's not a maybe. You're gonna get fucked up tonight. And right now he's the king of that. Like, just put him in front of me. I'm a nice guy. I swear to God, I'm not gonna kill him, but I'm gonna try to kill him. He number one for me. And I probably know who your number one is. I should have put him in my list, but I just like Tevin Farmer.
No, my number one was your number three.
Gotcha.
Mikey Garcia is number one. And there's a reason he's number one for me. Because when you get to these top three guys, which I said there was very little distinguishing between the three. When I came to, okay, Lomachenko's lost. I know it was early. It was the second fight. That's on him. Remember, he picked that fight. He wanted that fight. Terrence Crawford, I've seen him lose actually sections of fights. Like literally thirds of fights. 1/3 of a fight. I've never seen Mikey Garcia. And you can say he's not the most exciting fighter. But I have never seen him lose more than... Have you ever seen him lose more than 2 rounds in a row, let alone in a fight? I mean, you would have to go way back in his career to try to find a point where he lost more than 1 round in a row. You just don't see it. Like I said, he's not the most exciting fighter. But you know what? Out of all the guys we talked about, highest knockout percentage of any of the guys on our list. And you wouldn't think of him like that. He doesn't have the big flash knockdowns, yet he still has the highest knockout percentage. He took his 2 years off, came back, warm-up fights Latikin, a guy nobody wanted to fight. Not only did he make it look easy, he beat the living fuck out of him and knocked him out in 3 rounds because that's who Mikey Garcia is. That's what he does. He beats you up and he knocks you out. He gets you going and then gets you out of there. Like I said, that's the only reason. You can't find any sections of fights that he's lost. Salido was coming on, maybe. He'd won the last round when he had broken Mikey Garcia's nose with the headbutt. And they're like, I'm good. We can go to the accidental foul. We even made mention of that. Like, he didn't look like he was too happy but going on. Like, I'm good. And the guy who says that boxing is my first love, that's probably why he did it. But at 135, I'm sorry, I don't see a Robert Easter beating him. Jorge Linares isn't going to beat him. There's really nobody at 135. A guy is at 130. Is a guy like Gervonta Davis ready for him? No, he beats the shit out of him. He's probably, if he does fight Broner, he's going to beat the fuck out of Broner. It's not even a close fight. Lomachenko comes up. I think Mikey beats him. That's the kind of, the one guy is the number 2 guy at 140 for me. Crawford. That's a really close fight. And that's it. And you got those 2 guys, but to me, those are the 2 best fighters in the world.
Yeah, the super fight in the future may not have the names, the box office, but they're going to definitely have the talent. Definitely have the talent. So I can't wait. Like, I understand what you said about Mike. That motherfucker, he's a beast. He's a beast. Like, the only knock on anybody on this list is don't nobody want to fight him. And that ain't their fault. Well, it's kind of their fault because they've been beating the shit out of people. People don't want them problems, but that's when you that good that your name comes up. Fight who? Nah. I mean, look. People say, yeah, Broner just said he wanted to fight Mikey Garcia. Nobody in their right, he's not going to beat Mikey Garcia. It's not going to happen. If somebody put names Crawford, even when Crawford said, I'll fight Manny, people looking at it like, Manny, this motherfucker might not be the one to fight right now. I mean, and all much respect to Manny. When Lomachenko names come up, when Inouye's name come up, you want to fight? Not really, coach. Not really. Can I smash his hands with a sledgehammer before we come in the fight?
There's a lot more people ready and willing to fight Chocolatito than they are Inoue. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
You don't hear any of those guys calling him out.
Yeah. I'm calling it. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Quadras will get called out. Estrada will get called out. I'm calling out. Nah, not him. Not him.
There it was. Our Fab Five. Our 5 best fighters in the world. As we see it, I guess you would consider it more of that mythical pound for pound than what we'd had our standardized pound for pound where we actually have parameters for it. We don't do that very often. That was fun. Next week, all we have to do is break down the post-fight of Adonis Stevenson and Andres Fanfara. So we will give you our 5, and you can hit us up with your 5 best fighters under the age of 25. 25, not under the age. 25 and under. I'll go up to 25.
Okay.
The age of 25 and under. Who are the best 5 fighters right now? Inoue, since he's on my 4. He's the only one on my list. I wonder where he's going to be on my list for the under 25. There are a few other fighters that fit that bill.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have fun with that. Email the show. Cheap Seats Box. iTunes. Rate, review. You will be the next unofficial sponsor. We will shout you out. Please help us out. It keeps the show noticeable. That's all we want from you guys. Email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. JP, is there anything else?
This is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate.
And we do it just like you from the cheap seats because we ain't buying no tickets, goddammit. Peace.
Again, I'll be the next heavyweight champion. Call me crazy, but no one can fake me. I'm the product of the projects. Lost and crazy. Throw your hands up, Mr. Bruno. Ride. Big Mike Tyson about to brutalize that ass tonight. No hesitation for the whole nation. I'll beat that ass so bad I'll probably violate probation. Through demonstration as I strategize information. Intensive